Hi, my name is Bob. I'm the Product Development and Simulation Engineer at Grada International. This tutorial will briefly explain how to use the FACT software and how to set up a model in it. After downloading the software from our website, you obtain a directory including the software itself and the technical and user manual. Double-clicking the icon will open the software. The first thing to do is setting the required working language. At the upper toolbar, you have a bottom language, from where you can select a language. You set it, close the window, and you will have to restart the software in order to activate the language. Besides the language, there are other typical options mentioned in the upper toolbar, but an important one is the button preferences. Here you can set the desired units of your variables, the colors of the background, of the velocity contour plots, and some extra settings. You can define whether you want to calculate pressure losses or not, and you can also define if you want static or total pressure loss. You can also define if you want to use the same X and Y scale in the 2D views. In some cases it might be handy not to use equal scales, because you have, for example, a room which is very large but with a limited height. But in general, equal scales are more handy. If you move your mouse around the screen, you will see some text help at the bottom. Further on, FACT exists of 3 tab pages reflecting the workflow you will have to follow. We start at the input screen. Actually, to set up a model in FACT, there are 3 steps to follow. 1. Set the room dimensions and position the required number of diffusers or grills. 2. Set the required flow rates and operational conditions. 3. Select the required type of diffuser or grill. To set the room dimensions, we go to the Edit Global Data button. Here you can define the room dimensions, for example a room of 4 by 4 meters and a height of 2 meters 70. We can define the comfort zone and also the unit distribution. In this case, for example, we want 1 diffuser mounted at the ceiling, so we have 1 row and 2 columns. To define the type of diffuser, we always have to go to the 2D view at which the diffusers are mounted. In this case, top view. There are 3 ways to select and define a diffuser. One way is using the Select Product button, by which we define all the diffusers in the current 2D view. The second way is double-clicking a section line, by which you define all the diffusers located on this line. And thirdly, you double-click on an individual diffuser and you define or redefine its parameters. In this case, we use the Select Product button, and a product edit window will open. Here we will have a pre-selection of all possible diffusers which are valid for the 2D view which is selected, in this case the ceiling. So all diffusers mentioned here can be mounted in the ceiling. Secondly, we will have to choose an airflow pattern, for example linear throw, and one obtains a list of all possible diffusers again. Here we choose the LT350 with 3 drum slots. You can modify the length of the diffuser, and you can also choose the airflow direction for each slot. We choose 2 drums directed to the left and 1 drum directed to the right. Below that we have a very small summary of our selections and settings. Underneath we have some diffuser performance parameters, such as total pressure loss and sound power. The total pressure loss uses the velocity, so we have to define where this average velocity is measured. This is done by the duct area. Fact uses this duct area to calculate the average velocity. Default settings are available, such as a plenum with a side entry, but if you have your own connections, you can use the user defined option over here and enter a duct area in square meter. We will use the default setting. To reposition the diffuser, one can double click on the section line and change the distance from the origin. When some data is still missing or there's an error, one obtains a note over here in red. And when everything is okay, one can switch to the operational screen. First thing to do is select the section you want to define. In our case, we only had one section defined in the input screen, so it's logic you only will see one section over here, ceiling SH1. At the top of the screen you have some slide bars where you can modify the airflow rate and the supply air temperature, or you can also set manually by the keyboard some value. Depending on the type of diffuser, there might be some other variables that you can change over here as well, such as for example the inlet angle of the diffuser. Below we have a vertical cross section where we can visualize the velocity contours. Which velocities you want to see you can define at the left side. There are 4 velocities predefined, but you can also add other ones by typing them in the field. For example, 0.17 meters a second. If you're pleased with the view you have defined and you want to make a report of it, you can switch to the report tab page. Over here we have different fields that you're forced to fill in. Project data, you have to fill in. The designer data, which is also stored in the Windows registry after closing the software, so it will be collected when you restart the software, and also some lines including client data. Notes or remarks can be included in the report as well, which is not obligatory. And finally you have the report settings, defining what you will add to your report or not. Also, the sections, if you define one or more sections, over here you can define which sections will appear in the report and which not. And finally, when you want to make a report to send to your client or for yourself, you click the button Make Report, and there you can desire what you want. You can make a hard copy, you can export the document as a PDF if you have a PDF writer, or you can export it as an XPS document. So this is the end of the tutorial. I hope you liked it a bit, and I would say enjoy FACT and see you next time.